Hey, it's Xdefiant, and this is some of my Xdefiant gameplay. Uh, this is one of the first few matches that I got into during this previous weekend. If you didn't know, there was a server test during the 420 weekend. This is one of the first games I got into. I changed the settings up just so you can see the one of the different ways that the HUDs is set up. Before I had it basically changed out for the remainder of the weekend just because I don't like how it displays. As you can see, it shows off what faction your team and the opponent team are playing, their active status. So if like you wanted to know who was dead, who was alive, the numbers and things of that nature, everybody's name in the lobby, this is the way you would do it. Again, I pretty much took it off for the remainder of the weekend just because it's not aesthetically pleasing for me. So I completely took it off. I find it far more distracting than it is useful. As you can see, it's working as people are basically respawning in and dying out. It's literally telling you the status. As you can see, someone in the opposing team had left, so you see the finding player there. Like, it's useful if you want to just keep track of the lobby, basically. I'm not really concerned with that. It also shows you everyone's status toward, or everyone on your team's status toward their ultimate. So if you want to keep track of that and, you know, figure out who was getting close to their ult, who's getting close to what. It's so, yes, it can be very useful as far as team stuff, but again, I'm for the most part a solo queuer. I'm gonna pretty much be by myself when this game fully launches, pretty much majority of the time, unless I end up finding a group of guys, a group of people to run with, basically. But 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be solo queuing, so again, this is not really useful to me. I instantly turned it off for the remainder of the weekend. Again, it was cool, it was very useful. As you can see, my ping was very decent. I really truly enjoyed this weekend having this server test. Of course, my cousin, being the troll that he is, was talking about how it's going to be another 3 or 6 months or maybe a year till the game fully launches. And personally, to me, that doesn't matter. No matter when this game comes out, I'm going to play it. I am very excited for it. I have been watching and looking into it since it was announced. I love the way that it feels. I like the way that the factions work. I feel like they're very balanced. Every time that something is deemed somewhat OP, they extend out, you know, the length of time it takes to get it back, shorten the time that it works. It's very, very useful. So even the things that were very much obviously people were easily complaining about, which was like the Echelon factions digital ghillie suit, which makes you pretty much invisible. As you can see, I jumped off the map there like a doofus. So the Echelon faction digital ghillie suit, which makes you basically invisible for a short period of time. They balance that by how long you can be invisible and how long it takes to get it back. Then the Intel suit. The Intel suit basically lets you kind of ping and basically blow up your enemies, as you can see right there, because I was using it. It basically makes all your enemies highlighted red. Very, very cool, very useful. Obviously, people who are very, very quote-unquote hardcore as far as their shooters go really thought it was cheesy. I personally like it, and as you can see, it takes a good while for it to come back. So I feel like it's not something that really can get spammed. Now, obviously, if you have 3 or 4 guys that have it, it can get kind of cheesy, and that is understandable. But again, every faction has their benefit. The cleaners have a firebomb, which is basically throwing a Molotov at the ground that has a burning effect, as well as a flaming drone, which basically sends a drone in a straight line that takes that basically puts burning damage on whoever or whatever is right in front of you. Again, those are very useful as far as clearing objectives go. The DedSec faction, which comes from Watch Dogs 2, has a spider bot, which was not available during this server test, because apparently just before the server test went live, it was having some issues of its own. Epsilon faction during the server test ended up actually being taken out due to its own little glitch and things of that nature. So hopefully those things don't actually delay the dropping of this game over time. But the cleaners comes from Division 2. They are basically a fire faction. As I mentioned, they have a drone that basically goes in a straight line, pretty much burns everything, and the fire bomb ability, which allows you to basically throw a Molotov on the ground where you are, and completely have like a burn effect. So those are good for clearing objectives. Dead Sect has a spider bot, which was glitched and wasn't available during the server test, but I used it before, and it basically just runs around the map seeking a target, jumps on the target's face, and renders their abilities. Not very useful, obstructs their view, so they can't really see much. It's very good. It's kind of a stun thing. As well as they have a hijack, so if you have a bunch of proximity mines down, maybe the Phantoms faction, there's a bunch of shields down, or things of that nature, they can take all of those over. It's very useful. It's very cool. The Phantoms faction, which comes from Ghost Recon, they are kind of the shield boys. They have a blitz shield, which is basically more or less a riot shield, as well as a shield you can kind of throw on the ground. And then you have Libertad, which comes from Far Cry 6. Those are basically the healers. They have the Bovita healers, which I think is a little bit more portable, as well as the El Remedio, which is basically a healing you can throw on the ground and kind of sits there. So the Bovita is a little bit more for the people who are going to be standing next to their teammates. You can kind of pop it on the fly. But those are somewhat, that's basically the brief overview of the factions you will be seeing across this video, or across the videos that I will be dropping. But yeah, I just wanted to get this video out to you guys. I really didn't edit it too much so you guys could see every twist and turn of the map. This player, the game features, so cool to me. I love the little outros. I love the way that you can give your teammates thumbs up and acknowledgements. I've always loved that from Ubisoft. But it's been AP Experiment, and I'll catch you in the next one.